Hi, everyone. A quick note before we start. This video has been quite a while in the making. I proposed to Dr. McRae that I can create a video and share it across to the classroom so that everyone becomes acquainted with using Zotero. And it did not work the first time, and then I had to model it out in the class, which also did not work because the system in the classroom did not have Zotero installed in it, and it was a challenge to make you understand how it really works. So in fact, I couldn't really finish it properly. But thanks for your patience, and let's get it done now. So Zotero Quickstart. So let's start with two hooks. Two quick scenarios that you might recognize is that let's imagine that you're working on a capstone project or maybe a paper or maybe even the homework that one of our professors gives us, and you find a perfect paper today. You're just doing your casual browsing and you find that and you see, oh yeah, this can be used for my work. Maybe you decide that I'll use it the next week, and then it disappears into your browser history abyss, right? And it's quite difficult for you to find it back after sort of a few days have passed in between. Now, Zotero would solve this with a single click save, and I'll show you that soon. The hook number two is you're writing in a numbered style like the IEEE style that we have been directed to use. Now, when you're working in a group or when your professor, let's say your supervisor, asks you to just take off one of those numbered lists, or rather not the list as such, but one of the citations, and it becomes a big pain when you've got to sit and renumber the entire list. And imagine if it's a few hundred citations that you've already done, and your professor or your teammate just decides to take one off, and that's at the top of the list, maybe one or two. You've got to renumber everything from 3 to 100, right? That's a useless waste of time. So this is where Zotero will just completely help you work very efficiently without wasting any sort of time. So that's auto renumbering of the citations, especially in your works, becomes a big blessing. Now, what is Zotero, and why should we use it for our works? So Zotero, as such, is a reference manager. It's not strictly required for research writing, but it's a major time saver and a stress buster. There are so many different types of reference managers out there, and if you must, use any. But the reason that we are promoting Zotero right now is basically because our university provides a campus license with generous cloud storage, and it helps easy syncing between your laptop, your tablet, your phone, any sort of communication device that you're basically using to search through for different resources. So at the end of the day, it will be a time saver, it will be a stress buster, and it will help you sync across devices. Those are the major plus points of using this particular reference manager for our use. So there are certain things that are required for it to work in conjunction with your laptop, your mobile phone, or whatever it is. And the three items that are necessary, let's call it the Trinity. They are the Zotero desktop app, the browser connector, and the word processor plugin. So the Zotero desktop app it may not be a mandatory item on your system, but at the same time, if you have it, you have better control of the whole repository or the database that you have, and it helps you do edits and to much higher extent than what can be done on through the web portal that Zotero provides. So let's go to that point where you can download Zotero. So usually just go to zotero.org, and that's what will give you this particular page. And in this page, you see that there's a download button. If I press that, I would be taken to another page where you see two different download items that you can download. And one is the Zotero for Windows. That's the app that you can install in your system. And the other one is the Zotero connector, which is basically the web browser connector. Right now, you see that the Zotero 7 for Windows is what is shown because my system is a Windows operated system. And I would download that and I would install it to actually have the app on my system. On the right side, you see the Zotero connector, which is a Google Chrome that you see over here, because I'm right now using a Google Chrome connector. At the same time, if your system has Firefox or Edge or even Safari, you could install all that. And personally, my suggestion is that you should install this browser connector on all these different browsers that you have in your system, because at the end of the day, you cannot really be sure which browser you're using to actually reach a particular page, and you can actually save it then and there. You wouldn't really have to copy, take it to another browser where you have the Zotero connector and then redo the whole process. So it'll be a time saver. It's a very small, lightweight installation, so it'll not really take a lot of time. So once you do that, you go into the login page. That's where you need to log in to Zotero to actually ensure that the campus license is activated in your name. So or rather, your profile gets linked to that campus license so that you can use it to good effect. A few things that you need to remember is before you log in, remember that you should create a free account, and you just click on the free account, register for free account point that you have over here, and that takes you to another page where all you need to do is provide a username, provide your email address and a password, and register. They're not going to ask you for a lot of different personal details. It just gets and it's a very simple process. Now, once you install the web browser connector, press on the login link that you have over here, which takes you to another page where it gives you a username or email address through which you can log into the Zotero portal. But before you do that, you have to create a free account in your name, something which will let you link your identity to the campus license that we have. So for this, we need to register for the free account. The provision is provided over here. Click on that, and that will take you to another page where all you need to do over here is just you make a username. It is personally your choice completely. Anything that you feel is a good username that you can use. I personally prefer to use the campus, the ID, the email ID that you have. And the email should basically be your Villanova email ID. So that basically ensures that the linkage between you and the Villanova campus license happens. And then, of course, provide the password and register. Once that is done, you can go back, into the app and then sign in. And that's what we do. You go back into Zotero. There is a preferences tab which you can open, and then in that there's a sync button, and then you sign. But I'll show that soon. Now, in your library, the home base is my library, and you can actually have multiple folder systems. Folder sharing can be done, and all those things is possible in that system. So let's go to the web page where I've signed in right now. You see that you have a documentation point, you have the forums, you have a lot of the other links. The documentation is quite extensive, and you can actually become quite good with Zotero if you can just read through. I mean, a lot of these commonly asked questions are there, in which you can search for and get your answers pretty clearly. Now, if I click on the web library, that's the online portal, the web portal through which you can access your repository. Now, right now, what you see on screen is my Zotero profile. I have my library. This, as I was saying, this is your home base, right? You have all your documents that you have looked into, which would be in this. Now, if I click on this and I see that there's 611 items in this view that I personally have in my library, and the personal library are those different folders that I've created over here. And for instance, if I look into personal library, oh, it's just 2 items. It might have additional subfolders which would have additional, or rather more number of citations or references or links to the various resources. Now, why does it show just 2 over here? That's basically because all the others are separate from that particular folder. It's a simple system that you are quite used to, the Windows folder system that we all are aware of. It's in the same manner. So you have multiple folders that you have. The individual items in this particular my personal library folders are just these two, and that's why you just see them. If I go into the say one tab where I have so many others, this is still under your personal library, right? So there might be additional documents, additional references which you have stored under different folders. You can create folders, right click, you have the option to do that. But if you now see right clicking on the web portal doesn't really help you do that. You'll have to, the three dots on the right side, that's where you can actually create multiple folders, sub collections. You can move the collection from one point to another. You can rename it. All that is basically done through that. This is where, if you work with the app, it becomes slightly more user-friendly. There's a bit more easier to redo the format of the whole profile as such. Now let's go to say SUSE. I have one folder created over here, and I'm creating a folder Zotero. That's what you'd have over here. All you do is, if it's through the web portal, you just add a new subcollection, and you'd have this in this particular point, right? And then you can add in a lot of these documents. If you don't have any web as such through which you've taken the references, you can create citations by just clicking on this. It could be a book, it could be a book section case. You see how many different types there are? You have so many. And it's not just this alone. You can actually add many more that will help you use them as references. So rather than working on this, let me take you to the app as such, which will be easier to work with. Right now, what you see on screen is the Zotero app, and you see the same kind of folder structure. The Zotero folder that I just created, it's all over here, right? Now let's create a new, say, a book. If I need to now create a new book, data set, document, journal article, a presentation, we have so many different types. I select that, and then what you see on the right side over here is the meta tags that get attached to that particular resource. So you would have to add in a lot of these things. So let's call it test one, I don't know, book test one. Author, I'm AJ, series, SUSE. So you see what is happening? I'm just creating a lot of data in this, right? So volume, say 5 or 4, number of volumes, 10. So it becomes a challenge when you're really creating it in this fashion. There's a lot of data that you need to constantly keep on, and there are certain numbers that you do not know. Do you know what the ISBN is? You do not know what the URL is, right? So it's a challenge. So this is where we have something called the magic wand. You click on that. All you need to do is just enter something which is unique to that publication or unique to that resource that you're using. Normally, for a digital, some article, you basically have a DOI. It could be a PMID. It could be ISBN. Normally for books, sometimes it's ISSN. You have the ARXIV IDs. So many different types of that. So you could just paste that, and it automatically, Zotero would automatically collect all the data from the web and populate it over here. So you don't have to sit and redo or do the entire thing and just fill up the entire thing. It becomes a set of data that's collected and given to you for use. So that's how fast it can work. Let's go back to how this entire thing is done. So as I was saying, details, the entry on Zotero, the easy way is using the magic wand. Now, always try to add, if you're using the magic wand, always try to add the identifier. The DOI is usually what you'd see on journal papers and conference papers, and that's the digital object identifier. That's what it stands for, and you basically have almost all the journals would always have the DOI with it. And if you just copy that and paste it onto the magic wand, the entry point, the entire set of data corresponding to that journal, that published article, is obtained in a jiffy. So that's what you should always try to do. But then certain times you might see that there are tags which are not filled up. Try to fill it as much as possible. the more, the better. The third one, of course, the second one, of course, is the hard way. Type in each. I just showed you that. It's definitely a time killer. You wouldn't really want to do that. You'd prefer to make use of the magic wand system. So remember, the metadata is what is really important, and that's what is the essence of the whole the document preservation in your repository. So the crucial habit that we should have when you're looking into it is to save from the web. But then that's where the browser connector becomes a superstar. And sometimes, at least on a starting basis, try to ensure that your required folder within Zotero is open before you click on it. But then it is not always possible. Sometimes when you're looking through maybe your mobile phone or maybe a tablet, you may not have the app which is installed in your laptop or your desktop really at hand, right? So keeping this required folder in Zotero open is not always possible, but still you can do that if necessary. And if you're not at your computer, you can use a phone. So in your mobile phone, if you're, let's say, a particular article that you're looking into, then all you need to do is share that particular article. And in that share button, you would see the different apps that you can open. Maybe the Teams app, maybe your WhatsApp, or your I don't know, some other social network app that you have. You can share through that, but select Zotero, and in Zotero you can actually go into the different folders and save it. That's how you normally do it. So before I continue, let me just go back to the saving from the web part. This is something which is very important. So let's open the library. Okay, I have my Zotero open over here. Let's keep it open. But at the same time, I have certain other folders which are here. And if you now look into it, this is a Nature folder, an article, which it's a very famous article because it's one of the most cited articles in history, with approximately 10,000 citations, and it's phenomenal. But you also see that it was published in 2009. You have the date over here. You also see the number of authors that are in this, right? It's not just one or two. It's so many different authors. So it's a combined work. It's a group of work, colleagues who have really input this into an article, and it was published by Nature. And you have the page number, you have the range, the date, the access, the citations, everything is there. So how do you fill up the data? The best method is to use the DOI, but do you see any DOI on this page? You don't. So when you look into your browser, extensions part, if it's Google Chrome, you can see that there is a Zotero that you would have in it. Over here for me, I think, yeah, this is the Zotero. So I normally keep it pinned. So when I keep it pinned, it will always be there on your browser, extensions, that particular widget over there. So you can just directly click on that. So let's see what is being done. Now remember, the folder was open. That was the Zotero folder. So I'm just clicking on this. So it says, oh, saving to Zotero, a safe operating space for humanity, and a full text PDF automatically gets attached to it. Oh, now I see that it is not there. So which means this is basically where you need to have access to this particular page to actually download the PDF. But if you have access, that PDF also gets attached to that point. Let's go back to Zotero to see what happens. Let's check it out on the web browser itself. There you go. You have it. And do you see all this? You did not type this, right? It all came in on its own. So this is how you ensure that the entire thing gets tapped in. So you can change it. Now, if I want to change, let's say, the date or maybe some data in this, you just click on it and you change it. Let's say right now it says 2009. I'm going to make it to 10, which means it gets reflected on this part itself. Now, usually try to follow the international date format, not the American date format. Try to keep it as 2009, the year, month, day. So if I put in 01, that would basically be year, date, and month. Sorry, it's just one single. Yeah, that would be year, date, and month. See, that's how this is the best method to actually ensure that the dates are sorted out in a proper manner. But yeah, right now we do not have to do that. It was something that Zotero directly obtained, so let's keep it as fresh as it is. So you have the entire thing. Now, you see that there's a URL also that is being copied, right? I can check it out. I can go see, oh, that entire URL is what the web browser copied, and it keeps that over here. Now, the next thing is, if I have instead a page where you say, let's go to this particular page, and I go to this page, and if I now click on it, it'll still take in as many details as possible. But otherwise, I also see that there's a DOI that's given over here. So whenever you see a DOI, jump on it. That's my advice. Jump on that. I would say take the number, not the DOI as such, because this in fact is a link. So you take that, you go back to your Zotero app, and you're taking this. This is a magic wand. Type in this the DOI over here. You're entering it, and you see that the new article came in. This is the best method to ensure that all data is retrieved. All the meta tags are retrieved. This is the best method. So you see the two articles that are in your repository right now. And I've not been typing anything over here, right? You still see the entire thing being populated. The next one, so yeah, that's something that we just understood. So even if you do not have this Zotero folder open, you still can do that. And that's where, just like in the phone, if I can show you that, the same article that we just saw, electrical energy storage for the grid, a battery of choices. I copied the DOI, right? Remember, that's what I did. So all I do is over here, you'd have the share button. I'm not really sure if this thing appears for the Android phones, but yeah, you just share that. You can select the Zotero from into which app that you're trying to share it with. Search that. Look for what folder that you want. Right now, it says that if you're selecting Zotero, it just directly goes to the My Library folder, and that's what is bearing the tick mark. But go further down, you see that there's a More button. Click on that, and you see all the folders that you have. If you remember what you had seen in the previous part, you see all these folders. It's the same thing. So I can select from the RISE SCT 2025, go there, and I can maybe select solar, and then I, get it into that. And pressing on this would lead to back into this page, the third image, where instead of My Library, it would be written solar with the tick mark. So you say that, oh yeah, now solar is selected, and you can save it to the Zotero over there. So that's another thing that you need to be aware of. Now comes the window. I mean the MS Word, or the word suite that you're typing in, or your articles. When you install the Word plugin, it appears over here like a separate menu item. You click on that. This is your ribbon that falls down, and in that ribbon you see there's an Add Edit Citation button. You have an Add Edit Bibliography. You can insert notes in those citations, and all the different preferences, document preferences, refreshing, unlink citation, all of the different editing versions are there. So go into that. When you click on this, when you click on the Add Edit Citation part, a pop down, a sort of a floater block appears on your page, wherein all you need to do is, and next to the Z that you see over here, you just start typing in the article name. It can be anything. It can be the date that you have. So remember, the Zotero indexes every single tag. So if you have 2009 as an article as a date number, and you start typing in, every single article that bears a date as 2009 will start populating in this drop-down list, and you can select from there. But you wouldn't really go with the date. You normally would go with either the author name or maybe the standard title itself. So when you start typing that in, those are the ones that would follow in over here, and you can select. You see that selected items, the global, whatever that is. You have additional names that you have over here. So you can select one of them, and then that gets cited on that page. I will show that to you. Let me go back into the web browser. Okay, so this is the Word document that I did. And to be honest, this article that I made was from, I just went into ChatGPT, just asked for an article, and this is what it gave me. Asked it to, provide some citations also. So it gave me all these different article numbers. Now, this is not how you would cite your work, right? You would want to cite it with those numbers. Now, how would you do that? So I would go to this point. I mean, imagine that this is what you don't have right now. You just need to cite it. The colored ones are the ones that I've placed so that you understand what these citations are going to happen. So over here, place my cursor is over here, and I'm adding that, clicking on this button, and it says, okay, cite something that we need to put in. So I just put in, say, rock storm. So I see that automatically the library that I had this. So you can either click this or click this. There's two different. It's the same thing, but multiple number of times it has been cited. So I have referenced it, right? So I can click on that. Now it's over here. All you do is press enter. So it takes it in number one. Now you'd ask, I can just put in 1, 2, 3 completely, right? But then you'd have to put in those 1, 2, 3 and add in all the data over here, right? It's a time, it's a difficult process. So if I now click on this, you see that it bears a gray background. That tells you that validates the fact that whatever you're put in over here is a citation that is linked to your Zotero app. The next one is Pacala. I'm doing it again. I will put in Pacala. I see that. I put that in. So that's another article. It's a journal article that you see over there. I could have a conference item over here. So let's try that one. All these are journal articles, so you know how to do that. So if it's a conference article, it's not the difference between conference articles, but right now what has been cited are two different articles together, right? So again, let's add a citation, and I'm putting in Meissner and Nias. I see that. And the next one is Rivoy. Okay, I don't know if I'm spelling it and pronouncing it properly. So Rivoy, so you have the two articles, you just press enter, both of them comes in. Now what you observe is it comes with a space, a comma, all taken care of. You don't have to really forget adding a comma, those kind of typographical mistakes don't happen. So let's imagine that you have all this. How would you get the bibliography? If you go back to your Zotero, normally the items that you have already here, all you need to do is, if it's the app, you can just right click, you create a bibliography item. I go here, I say Tripoli, yes, it's there. I say copy to clipboard, okay. I go back into my bibliography point and I press and I just paste it, and it gets pasted. Oh, good. It bears everything in the right order, in the right form that it needs to be put in the bibliography list, and that holds a format in the manner in which it should be written. You cannot put in the for the IEEE format, you cannot put in the title first and then the author and then the date. There is an order in which it needs to be done. So it maintains it, it preserves that format, and then that's how you get it pasted over here. Now, this would be a challenge, right? Again, if you think of it, if there are 100 citations, how are you going to do it? 100 times you're going to paste it, and what's the big use of using a reference manager, right? So that's where we are going to look into the next button at the top, where you can edit the bibliography. So let me just take this off. I'm just leaving the two over there. There's another reason why I want to do that. Let's look at this. I'm going back. I've done this. I've put in all these different parts in over here. And do you see that the Pakala bears a 2 over here, right? This is 2 over there. Carbon aware operations, I did not have. Yeah, let's put in the rock storm over here. I'm adding in, let's rock storm. Okay, I've put that in. So I have the, now you see that it's strange, right? This is now happening as 2. The problem is it takes in the order in which the publications or the citations are happening. So what you put in over here, this is the first citation that is preserved in this entire system at the top of the page. So that gets the order number 1. So you got to be careful in that. So if I now take this off, you see that this one, and I just refresh, there you go. This became 1, and this is now 2. So you have all these numbers, mapped. Everything is there. So all you do is, let me just show how it is, how easy it is. I'm not going to type in this. All I'm going to do is I go to the bibliography point and I say, okay, add edit bibliography. There you go. That's 10, 12 different items bearing the same order in which it was cited, appearing over here. So that's the beauty of using a reference manager. Now you're not just working with 11 citations. You might be working with 20, maybe 30, maybe 50. So it's a big time saver when you have to really do a lot of these things. And let's look at this. Let's take out this and see what happens. I'm just taking out. I'll take out the first one itself. I'm taking out the first one itself. Okay, so it's still there. You need to take this out. So which means you'll have to otherwise number all of these, right? So I'm refreshing. There you go. This is what I was telling you as the first hook, second hook. So that's how Zotero will help you in your work. So that's it. If I can be of any more help on this particular thing, please let me know. I can help you out when we are in the class. I can just give you more advice on how to really get your feet into this Zotero stuff. Thank you.